visitors. Come in. Come a little closer. I am glad to see you. I suppose you've come to hear about my sons Joseph and Hiram. Well, you're not the first people to be curious about them. I've almost destroyed my lungs reciting this history over and over to people who are anxious to hear it. In fact, one of those people was a cheerful old woman I met when we were traveling to Kirtland, Ohio. I was searching for a room to rent so that a group of women and sick children could find some shelter, and this woman owned a room which appeared to be vacant. She said, "What be you? Be you Baptists?" I said, "We're Mormons." And she said, "Mormons? What be they? I've never heard of them before." Well, I said Mormons, I explained, because that's what the world calls us. But the only name that we acknowledge is Latter-day Saints. And she said, "Latter-day Saints? I never heard of them before either." I then explained to her that this church was brought forth through the instrumentality of a prophet, and that I was the mother of that prophet. She said, "Prophet? In these days? I never heard the like in my life." So she let the women and the children have that room, but she said I had to stay with her and tell her all about it. That was 1831. Now here I am 14 years later and I'm telling you all about it. So I'll tell you exactly what I told her. I am the mother of Joseph Smith, the prophet. With my husband, Joseph Smith Sr., we became the parents of 11 noble children, 8 sons and 3 daughters. But as Latter-day Saints, we have been driven from New York to Ohio to Missouri, and now here we are in Nauvoo. And now Joseph and his brother Hiram are dead, murdered by a mob. And the persecution against us continues. Soon the Latter-day Saints will be driven from this place, as we have been driven before. I feel that the Lord will let Brother Brigham Young take the people away. But I don't know if I will go. I am in my 70th year. And my husband and my sons are buried just a little south of this home. Even if my remaining children and I do go west with the saints, I want my bones fetched back here when I die. I want to lay my bones here so that in the resurrection, I can rise with my husband and my children. Oh, I'm sure you didn't come to this house to hear an old woman talk about dying. And Joseph and Hiram would have me speak of other things. But when their bodies were brought back to Nauvoo and cleaned for burial, I looked on their peaceful and smiling countenances, and it was almost as if I could hear them say, "Mother, weep not for us. We have overcome the world by love." We carried to them the gospel that their souls might be saved. They slew us for our testimony, and thus placed us beyond their power. Their ascendancy is for a moment. Ours is an eternal triumph. I know this to be true. I am the mother of Joseph Smith, the prophet. The Lord restored his gospel through my son, Joseph. The Book of Mormon was brought forth by the power of God. God has revealed himself in these last days, restored the true church of Jesus Christ, and clothed men with the authority of the priesthood. The true knowledge of our Savior has come into this world, and I rejoice in him. Now, may I give you a little advice? I'll give you the same advice that I gave my own children when they were little, and that is, love God with all of your hearts. Do good, and be good and kind, and do in secret what you would do in the presence of millions. To children, I say, obey your parents. And to parents, I say, God has given you your children, and he will hold you accountable. Teach them to love him. Well, I am a little tired. I think it's time for me to rest. Thank you for coming. I would love to see you again sometime.